Hi, Justices. What's your verdict for who's the most interesting person of 2021? Do y'all remember before she retired, Barbara Walters used to do an annual TV special counting down her choices for the top 10 most fascinating people of the year? I'd like to know who you think is the most fascinating person our people. Duet this video or share in the comments section. You can pick 1 or 10 or as many as you'd like. And these don't necessarily have to be people you agree with or even like. They should be, however, the most interesting people to you of the year. My choice for the most interesting person of 2021 is Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't remember a trial getting so much publicity since the O.J. Simpson case. From the time his trial began to the time it ended, it was day-to-day, non-stop coverage. Every time I went to a news website or checked out social media, everything was Kyle, Kyle, Kyle. After his trial, he did high-profile interviews with Tucker Carlson, Steven Crowder, and others. And he was a speaker at a large conservative event. I thought his Steven Crowder interview was quite bizarre, as it shifted from attempts to have serious insights on his emotional well-being to high school grade level homoerotic jokes. And after all, he is a teenager, so that's reflective of his age. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if he does come out of the closet. And as a teenager, he experienced being the most talked about American for weeks. Now here's a list of everyone else who I found especially interesting in 2021. Vice President Kamala Harris for becoming the first female vice president in United States history.
We just have to do the right thing, and that's it, regardless of popularity.
Amen. Do you have any advice for LGBT folks?
Amen, says the interviewer.
Last question. Attorney and political commentator Robert Barnes, part of the Viva Barnes show duo. He's got great political insights, and I appreciate him directing his audience to emerging video platform alternatives such as Locals and Rumble. He's somebody who's represented Wesley Snipes in a tax case, Ralph Nader in a ballot access case, and he's a regular contributor to the Alex Jones Show. Speaking of, I also feel Alex Jones, of course, pretty much an interesting person of the year almost every year. I forgot to add a name. I'm a one-person crew. Give me a break. James O'Keefe of Project Veritas. The interview with Big Pharma whistleblowers, the expose on corporate media's seeming sex abuse cult, and his legal battles and apparent victories against corporate media propagandists has been very fascinating to watch. Everybody involved with January 6th, most memorably the guy wearing the horns on his head, as well as police shooting victim Ashli Babbitt. On the ground, independent journalist Weaponized News based out of Fresno, California, and Leeroy Johnson based out of New York. Those two are bringing important footage of demonstrations against COVID vaccine mandate discrimination. Also, Avi Yemini from Australia. Everybody who demonstrated against COVID vaccine mandates for equal rights. I applaud you. I thank you. Y'all are the most important people of the present day. An example is Canadian activist Chris Sky. The medical doctors who dissent from the prevailing narratives about COVID. On the flip side, even though I am a decliner of the COVID jabs, I do find several of the pro-COVID jab medical workers making TikTok videos very fascinating. There are two who I especially respect and watch the videos of. They are at snackpacks.epi. That's short for epidemiologist, not EpiPen. And at ICU Doctor. They appear to understand that public health is not achieved by vilifying certain groups. Although my distrust of government and big pharma is too great for me to get a COVID jab at this time, I nonetheless watch the videos of these guys because of their important insights. Even though I disagree with him about COVID jabs, the most likable doctor making videos is Dr. Mike, gubernatorial Democrat candidate Kevin Paffrath, who took on Gavin Newsom and Larry Elder during the California recall election. Modern warrior, who probably has the second most repeated political catchphrase of the year, catchphrase being, "Hey colonizer," second probably only to "Let's Go Brandon." Joe Rogan continues to have millions of views at every show he does. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. I find interesting the lawyers making videos on social media, including Lawyer Mike and Ugo Lord. Other interesting activists include the First Amendment auditors. These are people who go to government buildings and film. Reactionary police come out and confront them, and the First Amendment auditors stand up for themselves and keep filming despite the police trying to harass and intimidate them. They're filming in government buildings in which the government's pointing cameras at you, but the government workers want to have a double standard and freak out when you put the camera on them. Moving on to entertainment, Mandy Moore, most of all, amongst the cast of This Is Us. How is she not winning any of the awards? The most heartbreaking, interesting celebrity of this past year was Nick Cannon, who tragically lost his baby son shortly after starting a brand new talk show. The most interesting people in music entertainment were rappers Tom McDonald and Dax. Despite all the communist cooties floating around, Lil Nas X thought it would be a great idea to make shoes with reportedly human blood in them. The Island Boys, I don't know why everybody hates on them. To me, they're no better or no worse than a lot of the low-quality rap that's out there today. I did hear somebody threw a remix on the Island Boy song. It was alright. It wasn't terrible. I don't get why they get all the hate, and they need to find a life coach or a counselor who can help them not get baited into all the conflict that people are clearly trying to instigate them into. Country music singer Morgan Wallen got in trouble when it was discovered he was using the N-word. This happened around the time where he had a #1 album on Billboard and continued after the controversy to have the #1 album for weeks. Despite how this would have been a career ender for many people, all signs already indicate that he will be forgiven and continue on a trajectory towards country music superstardom. Why is that? Is that because of American racism, or do people feel less shocked by the use of that word considering how prevalent it is in rap music? What do you think? The Simpsons this year did an incredible 2-part episode parodying Netflix drama series. Comedy video maker Adam Waheed. His videos about wearing masks in airplanes are especially hilarious. I'm not a big follower of sports, but it was interesting to see Logan Paul and his brother Jake Paul emerge as viable boxers. Some of you may not know, I'm a van lifer, which means I live out of a van instead of traditional housing. This past year was a breakthrough year in van lifer visibility, with the film Nomadland becoming the first substantial Hollywood film on the topic of people living out of vans. It won Best Picture at the Oscars, and the film included video maker Bob Wells, who has hundreds of videos online about people living out of vans and other types of automobiles. Tragedy followed the film after its sound mixer, Michael Wolf Snyder, committed suicide. Another tragic suicide was van life social media influencer Lee McMillan. And van life tragedy continued with the death of Gabby Petito. All of them were young people in their 20s and 30s. Very tragic stuff. Hopefully, van life visibility will continue to emerge, but here's hoping for happier stories in the coming years. The team behind Sidewalk NYC scored huge catchphrase success with their bing bong. What are you gonna tell Joe Byron? Take me to dinner, baby. The guy who said, take me to dinner, he's gonna be like Bart Simpson in the episode where Bart Simpson had to say that catchphrase, I didn't do it. I personally find the royal family entirely boring. I don't get why people fawn over the royal family. They sound like sex abuser, enabler, horrible people as far as I can tell. But a lot of people care about the royals, and Prince Harry and Duchess of Sussex Meghan Markle got huge media attention with their Oprah interview, so I'll give them a dishonorable mention. And another dishonorable mention to Ghislaine Maxwell, who should have been the most fascinating person of the past year, considering the trove of information she must surely know. But unfortunately, that trial wasn't allowed to have cameras inside the courtroom, unlike Kyle Rittenhouse. So unfortunately, there's just not as much publicity about this trial, so it's harder to follow what's going on with that situation. That's my list. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with my choices? Let me know in the comment section, and of course, share your choices for the most interesting people of 2021. I'm Jeff for Justice. Thank you for watching.
Yay, indie media!
Yay! At jeffforjustice.com, you can sign up for my email list. Be sure to upvote this video. Share the link to this video on social media platforms utmost welcoming to free speech. If you leave a comment, I'll do my best to reply. You can subscribe to my videos or follow at the platforms utmost welcoming to free speech listed below. I'm Jeff for Justice. Thank you for watching. May justice prevail for all of us.